Lions announce offensive and defensive coordinator hires, making it officially official today, y'all. We knew that we had guys in spots that were going to take over for Benedict Arnold Johnson bailing and going to the Bears to become the head coach for $75 million, and defense coordinator Aaron Glenn taking a head coaching job for the New York Jets, the team that drafted him way back when. We knew we'd have some guys coming in. We've been talking about it all week long. Kelvin Sheppard was named defensive coordinator. Our former linebackers coach promoted to defensive coordinator. We all seen that coming here at the Hat and Beard Show. We really wanted that to happen, as well as trying to find a replacement for Benedict Arnold Johnson, and that was unofficially official yesterday. Here at the Hat and Beard Show, we were hoping that we could have an internal hire, but obviously Antoine Randall L. decided to follow Benedict Arnold Johnson to Chicago, where he will be wide receivers coach and assistant head coach. I believe that's the title that they gave him, but regardless, it doesn't matter because everyone in Chicago should fail miserably. Aaron Glenn also poached away a few coaches from us. One of our assistant quarterbacks coach or passing game coordinator, one of the two, I can't remember, Tanner Egglestrand. He ended up bailing. I think I seen an article about that. But more importantly, Steve Hayden ended up bailing and going with Aaron Glenn to the Jets, our former tight ends coach, who really was instrumental in the development of what Dan Campbell is looking for out of his tight ends when we took, Sam Laporta in the second round 2 years ago. And he obviously had a monster rookie year, followed it up with a bit of a sophomore slump, though he did deal with injuries heading into the season and throughout the season. But Sam Laporta, obviously a huge weapon. Hopefully he can continue to ascend, even though we've lost now a few assistant coaches that help build the culture here. This is something that we just have to get used to. If we're going to keep winning like this, obviously, lesser organizations looking for the fix are going to look to bring in, successful coaches from successful organizations. And that's exactly what the Detroit Lions are over the past few years. Pardon me. Both with our player development, our mentality on the field, the way we conduct business, the way the coaching staff is assembled, as well as the offensive and defensive mentality. Dan Campbell, I feel, has revolutionized the way that the NFL conducts itself now, the way coaches and GMs are sought after, what the mentality is. I mean, this is a parity league, and obviously, we've seen trends come and go. I do like to think that now we are seeing I don't want to say a reversion or a regression to, but I really feel that as long as we can get the refs out of the game a little bit more, that we'll see the NFL cycle back to when I was younger, and it was a gritty, hard-nosed, it was a grown man's game, right? A lot of running the ball, a lot of tough-nosed defense. It was a grown man game, and I just like to see the NFL transcend back to where it once was. But not to bury the lead, guys, but figured we'd come out with we're only going to do one single upload today, so we figured we'd come out here with a little just, kind of bookending everything we've been talking about with the coaching staff all week long. So this coming to us here, I got an article from DetroitLions.com. Trying to see who wrote it so I can give them a little bit of credence. Or credit, rather. I don't see any author. Well, we'll still read it here, though. But before we do, guys, do me a rock-solid favor. Why don't you go ahead and walk on over to the subscribe button. Go ahead and poke that. Ring the notification bell so that you never miss out on any future uploads. Comment down below, are you satisfied with the coaching hires? And, go ahead and obviously like the video. I don't like doing these call to actions. So here in the next, maybe over the weekend or in the coming weeks when I get a little bit of time, I will probably just record a whole plug for this. So, and as always, share the video around with all your friends. It really helps the channel grow.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
So here we go. Sorry, I can't get a screen recording to work. I do not know what's going on with my game bar. If somebody could let me know what's going on with that, it hasn't been right in a while. But here we go. Lions announce offensive and defensive coordinator hires. Offensive coordinator John Morton, serving as the Lions' senior offensive assistant in 2022. Morton returns to Detroit is the team's offensive coordinator for 2025. Between his stints in Detroit, Morton spent 2 seasons as the Broncos passing game coordinator in 23 and 24, helping Broncos QB Bo I'm a 100-year-old Nix account for the second most passing touchdowns, 29. Third most completions, 8th most passing yards by a rookie quarterback in NFL history. It's pretty good. I mean, Bo Nix is not the youngest rookie to ever play the game. But embarking on his 23rd NFL season, he has previous experience serving as the Raiders offensive assistant, the Jets offensive coordinator, the New Orleans Saints wide receivers coach, the San Francisco 49ers wide receivers coach, passing game coordinator, Saints offensive assistant game coach, assistant passing game coach, 5th grade reading level, as well as a variety of offensive coaching roles in the Raiders from 98 to 2004. And he started with the Raiders. Okay. He started with the Raiders. Kind of crazy that he spent some time here in Denver. We got to start with the Raiders, divisional rivals there, you know. In 2005, Morton served as passing game wide receivers coach at San Diego. He's from Rochester Hills, a graduate of Western Michigan. Go Broncos. He entered the NFL as undrafted free agent in 93 and had practice squad and training camp stints as wide receivers with the Raiders, Green Bay, Jacksonville, and he spent about 3 years from 93 to 96. He also played with the Toronto Argonauts from 95 to 96 and the Frankfurt Galaxy in NFL Europe in 97. So he's been around both the league and the globe. So what am I looking? I'm looking for more of the same. Honestly, I know we all really like the trick plays and the fun gadgets that Ben Johnson would draw up, but they're kind of gimmicky now at this point, right? Like, it's fun your first year or two when you're starting to have success and you are the scrappy upstart team. You know, the odds are all against you, and you're fighting an uphill battle. And both last year and this year, because this year obviously we were heavy favorites, but with all the injuries on defense, our team needed to find a spark. So it was a big kickstart, a lot of energy that we could get, come out and you'd either break the morale of the team you were playing against or really get Ford Field into it. So Benedict Arnold Johnson would come up with fun plays, but I'm looking to move away from that, right? We're older now. The team's older. We're more experienced. We know what to do now. We know how to conduct ourselves. We know what to expect, both with a long postseason run last year or 2 years ago, technically, when we made it to the NFC Championship game, and what it feels like to have your guts ripped out, being the favorite, and having basically a yuppie upstart young team. The Commanders are similar to how the Lions were 2 years ago, and they came in and they wanted it more, and they ripped our throats out, and they just took it to us in our own house, and we know how embarrassing that is. And I read an article about Frank Ragnow talking about how this needs to be fuel for next year. So it sounds like Frank Ragnow's probably not going to retire, which is a huge, huge boon. I mean, he's only 28 years old. The guy's been through a lot of injuries. He has a irreparable toe injury that he's just been dealing with for years, and that's wild. That's neither here nor there. So John Morton, let's clean up some shenanigans. Let's make sure that we really spend time with our assistant coaches. That's why we're very lucky to keep guys like Scotty Montgomery, Hank Fraley, Mark Brunell, all these guys who are cornerstones of the positional groups and can really help with the transition over to a new offensive coordinator, although it should be similar to what we were expecting or what we've been doing. I'm just looking for a little bit of cleanup on the gadget plays. I'd like Jared Goff to continue to sharpen his skill set and continue his transcendence to one of the top 5, if not top 3 quarterbacks in the league. I know that's a reach, but say one of the big 3 in the AFC, Mahomes, Jackson, and Joe Burrow / Josh Allen end up having like a fall off next year. Say one of them gets hurt, then Jared Goff would be probably one of your next on the short list of upper echelon guys who should be able to have the weapons around him and a team structure around him that should help him transcend to that next level. That's what I would like to see. What he wants to do, though, as far as how much do you want to lean on these two, running backs, these historically great 2 running backs that we have? That is all subject to what we'll see, come training camp, that type of stuff. But I'm just looking for a little bit of cleanup of the gadget plays on offense. So that was a little bit of an introduction to John Morton. And then here we go. My guy, Kelvin Sheppard, officially announced as defensive coordinator. If you guys recall, he was a lightning bolt of steel and scenery. Just definitely lit up the camera every time he was on Hard Knocks, Kelvin Sheppard, a veteran of the league, he has long dreads, and one of the nice things about Dan Campbell is this just shows you the type of mentality that Dan Campbell is. He's a guy's guy. He's a dude. He's a down to earth mother. You know what I mean? And Kelvin Sheppard had been told by other organizations that for him to be a successful coach in this league, he'd have to cut off his dreadlocks. And Dan Campbell told him no. He told him to keep it. So it said some similar along the lines of like, that's what makes you, that type of jazz. And Kelvin Sheppard kept it. And now look at, he's sticking it in the eye of everybody as he is now potentially 3 successful seasons away from his opportunity to become the head coach of an NFL team. There are only 32 of those jobs in the entire world, highly coveted, highly sought after. And to be a guy who would be interviewing and then climbing up from a long list to a short list and then even potentially being that guy for a team is an awesome ascension by Kelvin Sheppard, and you just love to see it. I love to see the promotion from within. I thought he was a natural hand-in-glove fit to become our next defensive coordinator. As the years have gone on, you really see Kelvin Sheppard on the sidelines more and more involved next to Aaron Glenn, but also his deeper, richer understanding of the game, able to coach up his linebackers. Our linebackers have been at one point a weak spot, but now has climbed to be a strong focal point of our defense, led by Alex Anzalone and Action Jack Campbell, as well as, when healthy, Derek Barnes is a lightning bolt. Rodrigo, lightning bolt, right? Even guys on the back end, Neiman, you know what I mean? Germ, when he, not anymore, but Germ was once good. Jeremy Reeves-Maben, Maybe we look at a guy in the draft or something like that. But here we go. Let's learn about Kelvin Sheppard. Kelvin Sheppard enters his 5th season in Detroit. He's been here from the get-go, and his first as Lions defensive coordinator in 2025, after previously serving as the linebackers coach from 22 to 24. An outside linebackers coach in 21. So he technically wasn't just the linebackers coach when he first came in. He actually came in as an assistant linebackers coach, specifically coaching the outside linebackers, and then after one successful year, he climbed into the linebackers coach, give it 2 years, and now he's the defensive coordinator. Under Sheppard's tutelage, linebacker Action Jack Campbell became the first Lions player to produce at least 85 tackles and 5 TFLs in each of a player's first 2 career seasons since the data began tracking in '94. Wow, that is really impressive. And linebacker Alex Anzalone, 22 to 23, became just the 4th player in franchise history to produce at least 125 tackles in multiple seasons. Wow. Also very impressive. Aren't those the 2 guys that I just talked about? In 2022, Sheppard helped guide linebacker Malcolm Rodrigo the man, to become Lions' first rookie selected in the 6th round or later to start week 1 of the same draft year since 1987. Remember I told you guys there's that clip floating around from Hard Knocks where he's yelling at the vets, I don't want to start Rodrigo. I don't want to. He's making me. He's making me start him, and bum asses are making me start him because he was just out there getting it, and we see it time and time again when Rodrigo's on the field. He is just a shot in the ass of energy that we need, right? Prior to entering the coaching ranks, Sheppard was originally selected by the Buffalo Bills in the 3rd round in 2011 out of LSU. Split 8 seasons 2011 to 18 with the Bills, Indianapolis Colts, Miami Dolphins, New York Giants, and Lions. Wow, he's been bounced around in those 7 years. For being a 3rd round pick, last 7 years in the league, the average NFL career is 3.3 years or something like that. So he was able to stick around and get multiple contracts, even on the back end of his career, right? He appeared in 107 games, 63 starts, logged 400 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Following his playing career, he returned to the LSU football program in 2020 as Director of Player Development under head coach Ed Orgeron. Ed Orgeron. I don't know college ball. At LSU, Sheppard was tasked with helping players with their academic direction, social development, and overall quality of life. So that is the type of guy that you want right there. Right there, that last line. At LSU, Sheppard was tasked with helping players with academic direction, social development, and overall quality of life. Helping young men. Not just players, but helping young men who are being put into a situation where they've never been before. Away from home for potentially the first time. You know, this was, I think, before the NIL, so money was an issue. We know that a lot of guys that, you know, make it to the college ranks but don't necessarily become a star, don't necessarily come from the best at-home situations. You know, they could be utilizing this as their way out, per se. And having a guy like Kelvin Sheppard help guide these dudes is awesome because that speaks to his development, where his mindset is at as a leader of men. And again, that just is another notch in his belt that I say, you know, 2 or 3 years as a successful defensive coordinator here in Detroit, especially next year, if everybody comes back healthy and we can stay healthy. Kelvin Sheppard, I mean, you know, I say it about Aiden Hutchinson making everything on the defense, covering up some of the stink. A healthy and pissed off Aiden Hutchinson coming back might make Kelvin Sheppard look like the best defensive core. We could maybe even have the best defense in all football next year. Just think about it. Think about how good we were, even with how banged up we were. How close we could be to being a top 3 defense if everyone comes back healthy. Hutch just terrorizing people. Leem, possibly Big Z, possibly DJ Reader. You know, those 2 guys I've seen as potential cap cuts. But man, you gotta. I just, when I seen this Kelvin Sheppard signing or hire, I was just tickled shitless. Once I knew, I've actually been talking about him. Hat and Boobs could probably confirm this, that I've been talking about Kelvin Sheppard being Aaron Glenn's replacement since last year. So that's pretty awesome. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. There will be no 4 o'clock upload. I just got a couple of things I need to get done around the house. I don't have time to edit a whole second video. And there will be no upload tomorrow. I have a couple things I got to do down at the county clerk's office. Got to take care of some stuff down there, and I just kind of probably want to go to breakfast with Hat and Boobs. And I'm sure by now you guys are getting tired of hearing my constant meandering. So this weekend, we're going to try and clean up the screen recording situation so that you guys no longer have to look at stills but can read along with me, and we can be engaging and work as a team here. And, I mean, I have to work. Yesterday kicked off 10 days in a row for me, so I got to work all weekend. And, you know, guys, I don't want to talk about work. Those fucking idiots, man. So, all right. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your week. Enjoy the weekend. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. All right. Don't call for bail. No, I'm talking to you. Look, keep your nose clean. All right. But don't call for bail. All right. That's going to be it for me. We'll see you guys Monday. Going to shoot for that 1 p.m. and 4 o'clock upload. So I think that's working out okay. You might miss a couple of secondary uploads from time to time. It comes down to time. Guys. So, all right, that's going to be it for me. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been attentive audience. Bonga bonga. Frig off.